I found the old 8mm camera buried in the back corner of Murphy's Thrift, under a pile of moldy magazines. The price tag read $20. It had a film reel was tucked inside it with a piece of masking tape across it. "Do not watch," it read. As an aspiring filmmaker, I couldn't resist the temptation of forbidden footage. The old guy at the register barely looked up when I bought it. Back in my apartment, I set up my small darkroom. I'd been developing films since high school, so the process was routine. Load the reel, mix the chemicals, and wait for the magic to unfold. When it was ready, I projected the footage on my bedroom wall. Initially, it was innocent stuff. Some Halloween night back in the early 90s, based on the quality and the costumes. A father was filming his 2 kids dressed as a vampire and a witch, probably 8 and 10 years old. The mother was handing out candy to trick-or-treaters at the front door. But after the last trick-or-treater left, something shifted. The kids disappeared from the frame, while the mother closed the door and locked it with 3 different deadbolts. "Are we ready?" the father hooted.
"Yeah!"
The children cheered.
"I got the rope like you taught me, Daddy."
The boy jumped enthusiastically. As the camera followed them down into a basement, the image got grainier. I could still make out a workbench, some tools hanging on the wall, and in the corner, a woman. She was bound to a chair, gagged. Her eyes were wide with terror, and cheeks were wet with tears. "Now remember what we practiced," the father said, still filming. The camera shook slightly, like he was excited. "Mommy will hold Aunt Sarah still while you and your sister take turns, okay?" Turns? I was horrified. I wanted to turn it off, but I was frozen. The mother walked into frame, smiling like she was about to serve dinner. She placed her hands gently on the woman's shoulders, while the kids came closer, carrying something I couldn't quite make out. The woman's muffled screams grew louder as the footage became more and more chaotic. The camera shook violently. Still, I caught flashes of open wounds and blood, and the sound of the lady choking on pure terror. Then, a sound of a chainsaw rumbled, and everything cut to black. I sat frozen in my dark apartment, heart pounding, staring at the blank wall. I just watched a real snuff film. This family had tortured, maybe even killed that woman, and they filmed it like it was nothing. I was still trying to process what I'd seen when I got a call from an unknown number. "Is this Leo?" Yeah. "Hey, this is Murphy from the thrift store. Listen, that camera you bought wasn't supposed to be sold. The owner came back looking for it. Said his father's belongings got mixed up by accident." My blood went cold. "What did you tell him?" "Had to give him your address and number from the receipt. He's on the way to pick it up from you." The line went dead. I stared at my phone as panic crawled in my chest. Before I could even blink, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and saw a man in his early 40s of average height, with thinning hair, restlessly tapping his toes. He was the kind of guy you'd pass without noticing. But when he looked up at the door, I nearly whimpered. Those were the same eyes from the film, older now, but with the same cold intensity I'd seen in the footage. He was the little boy from that footage.
"Leo?
He called through the door.
I can hear you. I'm David Hutchinson. I think you have something that belongs to my family."
My hands shook as I backed away from the door.
I don't know what you're talking about. My father's old 8mm camera from the thrift. I already threw it away."
I lied. There was a long pause.
"And what about the film?"
My heart stopped. He let out a low chuckle.
"You watched it, didn't you?"
Then, there was full-blown laughter, along with unmistakable metallic scraping against the door. He was working on the lock.
"What do you want?"
I asked, already dialing 911 with shaking fingers.
"The film, obviously." and to make sure you understand the importance of keeping family secrets.
The lock clicked open. David stepped inside, closing the door behind him. The call had connected. I could hear the operator's voice, but I couldn't state my emergency. My wide eyes were pinned on the filleting knife in his hand.
You know, Dad's been dying for months,
He said, looking around my apartment.
but when I told him someone has our home movies, he perked right up.
The police
Won't find anything. We learned a long time ago how to clean up properly and leave before they arrive.
He took a step closer. I bolted toward the fire escape, but David was faster than he looked. He grabbed my shoulder, spinning me around. The knife flashed toward my face. I ducked, throwing my entire weight into his midsection. We both crashed into my coffee table. David's head hit the corner with a sickening crack, and for a moment he was stunned. I didn't wait to see if I'd killed him. I grabbed the film reel and ran for the door, taking the stairs 3 at a time. The cops arrived 20 minutes later, having traced my number. They found David lying unconscious in his own pool of blood. The knife was still in his hand. He woke up 2 days later, but he never talked, just kept smiling whenever they questioned him. The film was enough evidence to reopen several cold cases from the 90s. He succumbed to his injury in the county lockup some months later. I didn't follow up on his case or what happened to that woman because I had enough traumas already. I don't film anything anymore. Can't even look at a camera without seeing that woman's terrified eyes.